to the cloud.
And yes, we are live.
Okay, we are live. Truth be told, episode 7.
Yep.
I'm here. No Mercy. Trap New York shit. NoMercyTV.com. I know what time it is. Here with the missus.
Hi, how are you? It's Mrs. Mercy, Myrtle, Elizabeth, Emily's, Ernest
You got
Reed.
a million names that they do not need to know.
Looked like your last name was Jenkins before it was Reed.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Okay, let the joke start.
What was your last name before it was Reed?
Ernest.
Ernest? Oh, okay.
I hyphenated it.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Peso, the other half of the Trap New York dynamic duo, aka the Doorman.
And I do not co-sign the activities of No Mercy within the last 36 hours for the record.
Chill. And
the thoughts and views of and opinions of No Mercy are his and his alone. They are not shared by Peso or the Trap New York for the record.
You gotta put a disclaimer up, man. And
that's my man.
We got a very special guest here, one of the top guys to come into battle rap within the last, maybe 3-4 years?
Yeah.
You know, he's been making an impact. You know, his style is different. He owns who he is as far as, you know, the whole religion and everything. We got Loso here.
What's good, man? It's a privilege to come on here, man. What's good, bro?
Not much, man. We appreciate you coming on first and foremost.
Hey, wait, Mercy. Before we start, bro, I gotta ask the question, bro. How come y'all never brought me up to the trap, bro?
Because we curse and we have strippers at the trap. I don't think it's gonna be comfortable for you.
So then I definitely need to be there then. Y'all definitely need to
Listen, the church not gonna banish you if they catch you at a trap event?
Nah, bro. They probably would, but
they keep it a buck. We talked about it a few times, but where you were so far ahead in your career, like you jumped so far up so fast that by the time we even would have been thought about it, you was already off and running. So it wouldn't have made sense for you or for us.
But I did ask though.
Like you already off doing so many big and great things.
I asked.
Hey, appreciate
it. I asked. I really tried to get you.
No, we definitely talked about it, but you know, you had a great entry point with Bullpen. Yeah. That's where I first seen you at. And from there, man, I haven't seen a career grow that fast in a long time, yo.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, man.
Like by the time we even got on the phone, was like, let's get up. No, he's already on the main stage. Fuck it.
Yeah. Nah, definitely Mercy, man. You were one of the biggest. I know definitely, at least on Facebook, I would see you was one of the biggest supporters, like early on, like 2016, 2017. You would constantly make posts and just kind of share your opinion on my career and why I didn't need to do a PG, you know, stuff like that. So I definitely appreciate you always rocking with me, man.
Nah, you know what it was?
Let me hold on, Mercy. Let me just get this off why he was there, because he segued into something I wanted to ask. Why did you ultimately decide to do the PG?
The situation was right. So I was never against a PG, right? But I was against you making me do a battle and negating everything I had already accomplished, right? So my thing is like, when I got to debut on Gnome in front of 2,000 people on pay-per-view and everything, right? Like I'm in Houston, I was like, I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll do that. If you want to just stamp the PG on it, cool. But everyone knows that wasn't a PG. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the Honeycomb Hideout. That wasn't the, you know, Black Star. Like that's not what they were trying to aim for me to do.
My brother, you said one of the most important things that every battle rapper needs to hear. You were not going to allow any league to diminish or downplay the work you had already put in.
That's it. And here's the thing. Every conversation I had with them, or whenever I would hear them do an interview, they would say things like, yo, that doesn't matter. Like if he comes over here, it has a protocol. So I was like, bet. And I told everybody, my phone never made an outgoing call to URL. Never one time. It was always incoming, right? So they were always inquiring about bringing me over. And then at the top of 2018, This is when I had finished the B-Dot battle in 2017. 2018, I battled Show Off and I battled Daylight. And now they're like, the fans are going crazy saying, nah, we need Loso over here. And URL had to make a move. And they knew that when they contacted me, and John was a big reason as to why we were able to make the move that we did. But I told him, I said, look, you can't just negate the fact that I'm on RBE, KOTD, Bullpen. Like I was going around the 3 major leagues and going undefeated all of them. You know what I'm saying? So like when I got to URL, it was like, yo, y'all either gonna take that.
Hold on. I don't know about undefeated. You battle gyms, right?
I did battle gyms, yeah, and I won.
All right, hold up. Let's relax. You know what I mean? I don't know about all that now.
You and Jim had a classic. You and Jim had a classic. It was a classic.
You know what's crazy though? That battle though, like for me, that was my first time being in front of KOTD, and when I was in front of KOTD, that crowd, it was like they just wasn't like rocking with anything. Right. But the crazy thing is though, I won on every poll, right? So like you can have your opinion, Peso, but like you won't find a poll that I didn't win on.
No, I'm just saying by default, we just can't let that slide. You know what I mean?
That's why, yeah.
Jim's his whole team, so we just there's no way I could have just let you get that off without getting a phone call later.
Yeah. You know but the narrative was like, yo, he was like Loso's killing. So by the time I got over there and I got on the phone with them, it was kind of like, all right, you know, Loso, we're gonna allow you to do this. And what a lot of people don't know is that my debut PG actually was supposed to have an opening battle before me. So it was supposed to be Franchise versus Mac Mel. But I told in my contract with URL, I told him, I said, I'm not debuting with Mac Mel and Franchise opening up in front of me. I'm gonna be the solo PG battle, right? If you want to call it, or I'm not doing it on that. And they said, that's fine. They called me back 2 hours later. They said, hey, Franchise and Mac Mel are no longer on that card. Let's run with you and Scotty. And I said, bet. Let's go.
So you got them kicked off the card, basically.
If they went on Facebook and started like airing me out, Mac Mel and Franchise, they were like, Loso, this, that. And I told them, I said, wait, you mad at me? I didn't even know I had that much power. All I said was either let them do it, but I'm not doing it on the same day that they're going to go ahead and debut because it's not going to be special. It's not going to be unique. Now, there's no other individual who could say, yo, I debuted on Gnome, bro.
Damn, they ended up on a band card, too. That's
yeah.
You really got them banned.
It's like the route you went is the format me and No Mercy preach, is that grind until they don't got no choice but to mess with your work.
Yeah, that's it.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you keep grinding and grind. Like, don't chase nothing. Don't pursue nothing. Grind until your work speaks for itself. And if the work don't speak, if the work ain't good enough, then go to where the work is. You know what I mean? Like go where your work is going to be good enough. And we always preach that to the battlers, and you followed that format and it worked for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But go ahead, Mercy.
Yeah. So when I first got hip to you, it was actually through John. And you know, me and John developed a relationship over the years. Just, you know, I was the same way with him, just heavily supporting him. And, you know, we built a rapport from there. So he would send me the bullpen battles. And I believe the battle he sent me of yours was you and Bully Danny.
That was my tryout joint, bro.
Okay, he sent me that one, though. He was like, yo, Mercy, you need to watch this and check out this kid Loso. I'm like, all right, let me, you know, see what's up. And when I watched it, I was like, oh, okay. And it was a fire battle, but you really went off. You know, so that was kind of like my introduction to you, and I just seen that you had something different.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Salute to John for coming to the first ever Trap ATL event too. He definitely did that. Show love. Yeah, he came through, show love. You know what I mean? So salute to John for that.
Yeah. Yo, Mercy, that tryout joint too, man. I tell people all the time, like when I entered into that tryout, I was under the impression that it was all new guys. And when I mean new guys, not just people that you haven't heard of, but like I'm talking about like these were your first battles, because that's what it was for me. And so when I look on it and I start seeing like these battlers who have been rocking that spit that heat and in North Carolina, South Carolina, dudes that I had already watched, I said to myself, oh, there's no way I could win this. There's no way I could go ahead and beat these experienced dudes. So I was like, yo, my best bet is to go to this event and just show out. And when I went there, bro, and I ended up scoring the highest on their category list and all this other stuff, I said to myself, I was like everything that night, bro, just fell into it just fell into place for me. And after that, John even told me, he said, yo, like, you were the dude I was looking for. I needed to find a new guy that nobody had ever heard of, and I needed to make sure that he was fire and marketable. And it was like a perfect, it was like a perfect mesh at that time because I needed a great cosign, right? Because no one knew who I was, so I needed somebody who was credible in the culture. John was that, so he comes along, and John needs this new star, right? This new, fresh dude that doesn't come from no other league, so you can't say, yo, I'm taking talent. He's building a homegrown talent, so he grabs Loso, and now we're pushing Bullpen, for the next couple of years. And he told me that day because I was actually offered a PG as soon as I got off that stage. I was offered a PG, and I was offered Spit That Heat was contacting me to go over and do something. But the thing about it is that John had called me the next day and said, Los, I know that they offering you this. I know you want to do a proving ground because that's a dream for all of us, right? To go to URL. You've been watching that. But he told me in 2016, John said, Loso, give me 1 year. You give me 1 year, and I promise you I'll make you a household name. I said, I bet. I didn't know what that was going to look like, but he had a plan, bro. And within 1 year, I was in everybody's conversation, bro.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
He was putting me in battles that I wasn't like I would say no to, right? Like right after the Bully Danny one, he had me battle some dude named Barry Vance. But that battle ended up doing close to 100,000, right? Like we end up shaking some noise in the South. And it was on Lifetime. It was on Jermaine Dupri's rap game. Like it was a chess move. Then right after that, he hits me up and is like, yo, I want you to battle Xcel. Now at the time I was like, Xcel? You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't a big fan of him. John saw something. That ended up being one of the craziest battles Bullpen ever did, right? Right after that, he gives me DNA. So like every move was a chess move. And literally by the end of that year, I was able to be in different conversations, man.
It's crazy. That's one of the mottos we kind of preach at the Trap, and we've been preaching that for a while. Like on some, give us a year, we'll give you a career. Yeah. Not saying that we're gonna make you like the biggest thing ever, but if you rock out with us for a year, where you were at the beginning of the year, you're gonna be in a completely different space at the end of that year.
And you know why that is. I totally understand why John would say that because it takes a little bit of time to really get that ball rolling. Yeah. And put in that work. Like a lot of people don't see the game plans behind the scenes that really, takes talent to that next level. It's not just about you just jumping on every league and battling. It's really putting together a marketing plan, putting together, promotional plan, putting together things that are going to get you as an artist out there to as many people as possible before you even get to that next level. So by the time you get to the next level, you bring in a certain base with you. You understand what I'm saying? It's not just so about – see, I think where a lot of battlers get boxed in at is that the fact that the league can do more for them than they can do for the league. You understand what I'm saying? So once you're in that position, you need the league more than they need you, so you become expendable. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? But when you go the route like you went to where when you step to with or when the league steps to you, they know you're bringing something with you that they can use. It makes the negotiations a lot better.
Yeah, yep. For me, man, I remember, and this is for everybody, right? As soon as you get your first, even like small little taste of success in battle rap, you can easily go get any battle around the country at these smaller leagues, right? For a couple $100, right? You could do that in the beginning of your career. And a lot of dudes jump on that. They start doing that, get oversaturated real quick, get a couple losses because you're not really taking this dude serious or a couple debates such. But you can't market those battles, though. And so for me, they were offering, like I was getting offered at that time, but John was like, look, I know they offering you 500. I know they offering you 750 right now, but just wait, bro. Just wait, and you'll be making 3 times that next year. You know what I'm saying? Just wait and let us just do this. And for me, I was cool with that in the beginning because I wanted to make sure that as I market Loso, when I brand Loso, you guys will be excited to see him, right? So like, even though Bad News wasn't a huge name, me and Bad News were able to put together like a campaign and a battle together that the fans, even outside of Atlanta, were like, yo, we gotta watch. We can't wait to see this battle because both of these dudes cooking. Xcel joint, DNA joint, the B-Dot joint. Me and B-Dot hadn't touched URL, and we were one of the biggest battles that year. All for URL, bro. All together. And so that's all. You only are able to do that when you say, you know what, I'm gonna sacrifice this small taste of quote unquote fame or financial gain at these other leagues in return, so that I could go ahead and build my brand, so that later on people could be like, yo, now I want to go. Like, think about it. When I got on, I like my first battle on KOTV was Blackout. John had never done a Blackout. John was like, yeah, go do it. You know what I'm saying? Now that's you're making milestones now, right? Like I'm debuting on Blackout. Then I'm on RBE, right? Like I'm doing big cards on RBE. Then obviously I'm main eventing Bullpen. So like it's different scenarios that the culture can't turn a blind eye to. And if they do, they obviously hating. But at the time, man,
quality over quantity.
That's it, man. That's it, bro.
Quality over quantity.
Loso, I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. How did Carlos transition into Loso? Like, what was going on in your life that said, you know what, I'm gonna go the battle rap, Brian?
Oh, okay. So for that, so like for me, I was actually I had just started like rapping, but I was actually doing poetry at the time, and so I was doing music. But the battle rap thing kind of came up because I had did a spoken word at some open mic, and when I got off stage, some dude came up to me and said, "Yo, you'll be a good battle rapper. Like your mannerisms kind of remind me of a battle rapper." And so I was already watching battle rap. Like I was a huge Cortez fan. I was a huge Young Ill fan, and so for those two battle rappers, like I remember they kind of like influenced my style a little bit at that time. So when I got off stage at that spoken word, I started, somebody had planted a seed, but I never thought that I could do what they do. I just never thought that I would be able to remember that much material, get on stage in front of another entourage, let them heckle me, the crowd, you know what I'm saying? Like I thought it was going to be too much. But when I heard about that battle rap was not too far away from me, I said, yo, let me go ahead and try this out. And so I was already Loso right before that. And so when I transitioned, I did my first battle in Tampa. It was my first battle in Tampa, and we actually sold it out at this event that we did out here. And I was only going to check up a bucket list. I wasn't supposed to battle again. Like it wasn't like I was going to take over the culture. That wasn't my mindset. I was supposed to do one joint and then I was just going to get out. I just wanted to see if I could do it. But when I did it, it was such good feedback, and the ripple effect of what happened that night kept hitting me up in the inbox and posts like that. I was like, all right, I got to do another one. And so that's when the John joint came apart.
So how did you get wind of the Bullpen tryouts?
So at the end of 2015 is when I joined Battle Rap, right? So I did my first joint in Tampa. So I hear about Street Hymns, I actually, before he and I even joined Battle Rap, we actually had battled a long, long time ago. And so he and I had a friendship. I saw him on Bullpen, right? And so I heard about Bullpen doing a tryout. And I was like, you know what, man, I'm going to just go ahead and just do it. Let me just go ahead and put some, put everything else aside and let me just see what this tryout is about. Now in Tampa, the league that I was affiliated with, they weren't really moving like that with multiple events. So when John joint came about, it was $100 to enter. And if you entered, obviously there was a grand prize of $1,000 and all this other stuff. And so I submitted my name, and they contacted me back within a day. They were like, hey, we got an opponent for you. But they had no idea who I was. I remember even writing John, I said, yo, remember me, bro. I'm just letting you know, remember me. And he wrote me back. He said, I'm going to keep my eye out for you. And like this is before we even had met. And then, obviously I ended up winning the joint. So it was really just I just saw it on social media, submitted, bro, and then the rest was history.
And
so you invested in your career early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, with is religion something that has always played a major role in your life?
Yeah,
was it like recent events, that brought out some sense of spirituality?
Yeah, so I didn't grow up a Christian, right? Like I was like, I mean, you go to Tampa. I mean, you come to Tampa. Now they know, like, obviously I do a lot for the community and stuff like that. But prior to me, like becoming a Christian, I wasn't I wasn't a good guy at all, right? I'm not saying like I'm the best guy, nothing like that, but like I definitely have situations that have occurred that was gonna take me down the wrong path really fast.
You was a scumbag, just so you can admit it.
Yeah, that's it. So what ends up happening is my cousin ends up getting killed, right? And
damn, condolences.
He was like my best friend, bro. I mean, you know, he taught me how to dress. You know what I'm saying? He taught me about rap. He introduced me to hip hop. He, you know, he was like, we both played football, basketball. He taught me how to do all those things.
He got killed over some street shit?
What was that?
He got killed over some street shit?
Yeah, yep, gangs. That's what it was, bro. He was part of, you know, he was a blood member out here, and he went to a meeting, and I don't know all the details, you know what I'm saying, but I had saw him maybe about a week before that, and obviously, you know, I used to roll with him and stuff like that, but he was just with his family, and then long story short, you know what I'm saying, they end up killing him. So after that, I remember just sitting back, bro, and I was just like, man, you know what I'm saying, like this is crazy. And I was my mind was in a dark place. I was going to make some terrible decisions, and I promise you not, man. I was on the computer, and I was just on YouTube minding my business, and I clicked on this like black screen. There was just this black screen, and it was this preacher preaching. And now before this, like you gotta think about it, bro. Like I wasn't stepping foot in no church. Like I was out, you know, chasing girls, trying to get money, doing all that stuff. But I pressed play on his video, and for this video, man, he was just like, he was obviously just talking about God, how God is holy, and how, you know, he sent his son Jesus and all this stuff, right? Stuff that obviously all of us we've heard bits and pieces before, but when it's time, bro, it's time. And so for me, like, I remember listening to it, and for the first time, it started making sense. It started making sense. And I tell everybody to this day, man, like, I'm not saying like everything changed that day. Like I just started like, you know, living right. But I remember like I started getting pulled towards God ever since that video. And for me, I wanted to make a conscious effort to not just be like this 007 Christian, right? Like I not, no offense to like nobody who doesn't necessarily shout it, but for me, I knew what was happening. And so when I started reading, I started understanding like who Jesus was and stuff. I was like, man, you know what? I want to tell everybody about it. So I started going back to the hood, and I was like, yo, this is what it was. And it was like, Los? Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, I mean, crazy. But and so from that day moving forward, this just who I am. Like I don't market myself as the Christian. I don't try to market myself as the Christian battler. I don't want to market myself as the Christian rapper, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a rapper. I'm a battler. But when you hear me rap, you're going to understand my worldview. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see like, yo, he's different. He's this, he's that. And so I don't even want to say like, I know a lot of people like, yo, you use your religion as a gimmick or this and that. And I'm like, nah, this is who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like I hope everything you rap about is who you are. Like, this is just who I am. This is. So you was like Sharif in Minister Society. That's it. Nah, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't necessarily like that, but I feel you. You know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is like, for me, bro, like I want to be authentic, and so if I'm not, you know, if this is who I am Monday through Saturday, that's what you're gonna hear if I'm rapping on a Sunday, right? Like, I'm not gonna just front for anything else. So. Let me ask you this: Did some of the friends you had prior to that reject the new you at that time? Oh yeah, because that's what made the Sharif character so dope in Minister Society, is the fact that he had turned his life all the way over, but he was still with his guys. He was still with Old Dog. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like Old Dog was still his man. Like, you know what I mean? So. But what was that like for you? Like once you transitioned over into this new wave, did you lose some friends? Did you keep the same friend? How did that go? So obviously, like, there's gonna be things that I was a part of, right, before me becoming a Christian that I could no longer indulge in anymore, right? Like I just couldn't like rock with. And but they understood that. But obviously, you know, you just start parting ways. But it wasn't because I was on some like, yo, I'm holier than thou. I think that's exactly why you won't find anybody in the battle rap culture like just outright saying, yo, I don't rock with Loso, right? Like you get anybody, bro. Like I'm talking about from the Goonies to Cave Gang to Left Side Connection in the West Coast. Like it don't matter who it is. Like I'm good everywhere because they just know like, yo, I'm a genuine dude and I want to be real with you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't come off like, yo, I got it all together. Like I'm jacked up just like the rest of us, right? Like we all got work to do in our life. So that's why you see me eating and I'll go ahead, bro. And I you know what I'm saying? I'm at the battle events, you know what I'm saying? You drinking Henny? I'm like, yo, let me get some Henny. You know what I'm saying? Like we dialogue, you know what I'm saying? Now, obviously I don't smoke, and you won't see me drunk at no event, but I'm okay with doing all that. So like what you were just saying about, you know, Sharif and Odo, like when I was back, obviously still in Tampa, like you still see me out, you know what I'm saying, with my boys and stuff. Obviously I'm married now and, you know, trying to have a family, so I'm not out all the time. But I mean, at the same time, I never wanted to be a Christian who said, yo, y'all guys are evil and I'm on the good. Nah, I'm like, yo, we all together, we all need help. And I'm just here to kind of just shed some light. You know what I'm saying? And if you want it, you want it. I'm here. So like, that's why you got dudes, bro. I got a battler, right? I got a battler who's obviously out now, but when he was in jail, he was hitting me up, bro. And his phone call was to me all the time. And we were just talking. I had another dude who got shot, you know what I'm saying? And he's calling me on the phone and through his like healing process as he's trying to learn how to like, you know, walk and all this stuff. Like he's on the phone with me. And so these dudes, like I said this in my prep battle, I said, yo, y'all don't know the struggle of getting dissed in public by these dudes. And when they locked up, you the first one they call. Or when they need something, you the first one they call. When they want to pray, when they want to talk. But I understand that it comes with territory. So I want to be authentic, bro. I want to be real. And I think people respect that too. So that's definitely happening in Tampa and in the battle rap culture.
That's what's up.
Okay. So what was your I want to say ladder through Bullpen? Like you did the Bully Danny battle, and then what happens after that?
So I was actually part of the grand prize was to win a spot on Bullpen's roster, and then you get on their next big card. And so so he does a Southern Crown. John has this thing called the Southern Crown where he doesn't bring in no outside names. It's just Bullpen battlers. So I was gonna debut on that card, right, for the fans. And so after I went to try out, I was battling a guy by the name of Billy Dutches, and he was kind of like a little vet out in Atlanta. And so I was ready, bro. I was so excited, and he no-shows. He no-shows the month after, right? And I was like, yo, I was so depressed. I was so mad because I felt like that night everybody's stock is going up, and my stock was just staying still because I couldn't do anything, right? So John tells me, he says, all right, look, since you didn't get to do this card, I'm going to throw another card in June. And in June, I want you to battle Barry Bands. Now, that wasn't supposed to be like a crazy joint. I was going to main event that card, but it ended up being a big card because all of Atlanta came out. And like I said earlier, Lifetime came, right? So Lifetime, Jermaine Dupri, they wanted to bring their kids to come to a rap battle event and battle. Well, my battle and Barry Bands actually showcased on the show. And so it blew up, boom. And I'm going crazy. I'm bombing. That was like my breakout battle. And then boom, right after that battle, the winner of the main event of that battle got to be on John's big card, which was the Fate event. Originally, that was supposed to be John versus Daylight on that card. But Daylight didn't end up showing up or something like that. But it had crazy battles. That was Chef Trez, DNA, Cortez, Riggs. Had a bunch of other joints on there. So me and Xcel, we end up opening up that event. And that's when Rap Grid had tweeted out, yo, this might be Battle of the Year. And this was the same year that B-Dot and Danny Myers had happened and Rum and Av had happened, right? So it was just a crazy joint. And so right after the Xcel joint, he comes and he says, all right, cool, I'm about to do a card called Close Range, which was obviously based off of Hitman and John's battle. And he said, I'm gonna give you a name. And he said, Loso, I got DNA for you. I said, bet, let's go. Shaquille O'Neal's in the building for this joint, Julio Jones. Now think about it. This is my fifth battle. And so I was like, all right, bet, let's go. I went in there, did my thing, and even DNA came out and said that he had lost that battle. He loses the battle, and so boom, you know what I'm saying? I move on. Now after the DNA joint, we go ahead and we build up for Me and Bad News. And when Me and Bad News go, that was such a pivotal moment for Bullpen because we were able to sell out a venue with just two regular Bullpen guys in Atlanta. and it was a talked about battle. We dropped it the same week, and it did a bunch of views and stuff. And so after
let me pause you right there for a second.
Yeah.
When did you realize that you were heading into that star realm, like the realm of like, yo, you're really on your way to becoming one of them next battle rap stars? Like, what was the battle that made you feel like that?
So right before, so it had to be around that time, that DNA Bad News, Xcel DNA Bad News. So after the Xcel battle, Rap Grid, like I said, tweets out, yo, this is battle of the year. And then Jay Black even tweets out, yo, I'm just now getting hip to Loso. I think John might have one. So I started getting hit up by a couple of dudes here and there, right? And so I was like, okay. And so I was even mentioned, they started doing like a couple like Rookie of the Year lists. And myself I was at the top of every list. Every single list you could find, I was at the top of every list. After that, right before I battled DNA, Hitman Holla, I guess he had been watching, and he was like, Loso's the best one in the South, like best new dude in the South. He said he's the best one in Bullpen. And when Hitman Holla said it, I was like, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah.
After that joint, the Bad News battle happened. And when the Bad News battle happened, I started seeing like top tier names mentioning Loso and Bad News. Like, yo, I gotta check this out. And when they were like chiming in, like I remember Math Hoffa had wrote, T-Top had wrote, there was different blogs. I remember Jay Black did a whole segment on me and Bad News battle. Like I started saying to myself, I said, oh, I'm here. Like I'm around this, the culture that I love so much. So that was the Bad News.
I think the Bad News battle solidified it.
Yeah. So right after the Bad News battle, I get hit up for the blackout joint. Boom, that's a crazy one. Right after the Bad News Jim's battle, I get hit up for a 2-on-2, which was the Farrah and Shuni battle. And at the time, I didn't think of anything about that battle, but it ended up being one of our highest view battles. Me and Street Hims ended up, we ended up doing over 400,000 views with that joint. And obviously it's because of Farrah and Shuni, they obviously was putting on their little twist to it. But me and Street made sure that we showed out. We knew that those girls were going to come on and people were going to watch them because they were known. But me and Street wanted to go ahead and do something incredible. So we did that joint. Then the B-Dot battle was the battle that I was shooting for, I was aiming for. And then, we did that, man. And that, I feel like John and Tilla Jones was supposed to be the main event, but me and B-Dot actually end up being the most talked about battle on that card.
Right, let's talk about two of my favorites. You and Bad News definitely top 10 all time. You and B-Dot definitely top 20 all time for me personally. Let's go into the Bad News battle, man. You battling this super street dude, gang member, right from the block. What was your writing process like for that?
He was the first battler to piss me off. Like I was angry against Bad News, bro, because he was like in the chats, like running his mouth, and it was crazy because I didn't think he was good, but he was beating dudes around, in Atlanta, and that was the first battle that I started like to second guess, like I might lose this one because I was across somebody who was just as hungry as I was. Yeah. There was never a dude who wanted it just as much as me. But Bad News wanted it. He didn't just want it, bro. He wanted to kill me, and he hated me. And that was what made the battle such a big deal. And so I feel like I got the battle though, but they called it a tie. It was actually a judge battle, and the judges actually called it a tie, and nobody left with any money. And so, but once it dropped on YouTube, the majority of the fans ended up saying, "Yo, Loso should have left with the money." But that was one of the craziest battles I was involved in, and like I said, it ended up turning a lot of heads towards my direction.
Yeah, it definitely is a classic. Then the B-Dot battle, that was actually pivoted as a comedic science versus Christianity battle.
Yeah, yeah. It was very, very controversial for me. Watching you and just watching everything. B-Dot made a lot of sense in his battles, but then you came at it in a completely different light. You came at it, it's like you were upset with Xcel and then you just added on to it.
Yeah.
And you put all that together against B-Dot. Like,
I mean, they basically spent 3 rounds calling each other hypocrites.
Right? Facts, right?
I felt a little bit. I felt like you were a little bit more emotional during the Xcel battle, and you were really in professor mode during the B-Dot battle.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I love the B-Dot battle, it's like, I don't know if you're familiar with New York City, but we got these dudes out here called Hebrew Israelites who be out on the streets, and they be out there arguing with niggas for like 3 hours. And that battle was like the rap version of that. You know what I mean? Like, but it was so dope because both you dudes poetically put your points of views in rhyme and made it make sense. And I think that's what made it so amazing, yo.
Yeah. I was super young for that joint, you know what I'm saying? So when I watched it back, like I critique so many different things, but I mean, it blessed a lot of people. A lot of people were encouraged by it. A lot of people enjoyed it. They had education and entertainment at the same time. For me, the reason why B-Dot was such a good battle for me is that even though Bad News was the first battler that I looked across stage and I was like, yo, he wants it just as much as me. B-Dot was the first dude that I looked across stage and I was like, yo, he could do everything I could do. Usually I would have the upper hand, but he was the first battler that I was like, yo, this dude's like a Swiss Army knife. Like he could project like me. He's clear like me. He can rap about, educational thoughts. He can punch. He can do, like, there was a dude across from me who can literally do everything I do. And so I had to go ahead and find different things. And so, but the crazy thing, man, I wasn't afraid. I was so, like, that was one of the most, I was just so hungry for that. I wanted to prove a point in that battle, bro. And I thought I did. And I had so much to talk about. And I didn't even scratch the surface on all of the stuff that I wrote down, bro. Like, I only wrote a couple of different, and we went unlimited too. A lot of people didn't want to go unlimited rounds with B-Dot at that time. A lot of people didn't want to go first against B-Dot at that time. I remember some battlers, bro, they were like, yo, I don't know what to do with him. Like, I'm not going to go first, all that stuff. And I said, nah, you know what? I want him at his best. So I'm going to go first, and he's going to get unlimited rounds. I'm going to let both of us get unlimited rounds, bro, just so I could prove a point type of thing. And so it ended up being...
I think one of the truest compliments any battle rapper can have is when somebody vehemently, like, writes for you. Like, when they definitely step to you, like, I am going to go at this guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think both Bad News and B-Dot definitely did that. Like, both of those dudes wanted your head on a platter.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I think that was what made those two battles so dope, was the fact that the competitive nature was there. It wasn't no brotherly love type shit with either one of those. Both of those dudes definitely wanted to win, and you wanted to do so just as much. So salute to all of y'all on that.
Facts.
All right, let's get into the URL topic, because I know there was, like, at least from what I remember, there was some type of controversy. I don't know if somebody said something in the blog about, I know it started with, like, the fans were saying, yo, Loso need to go to URL, y'all need to holler at Loso, Yeah. And then it was just like a whole controversial thing. So how did that pan out from your standpoint? Like, when did you first start getting buzzed that, about the whole URL situation?
So I feel like after the B-Dot battle, especially because remember, right after I battled B-Dot, 2 months later, B-Dot debuts his PG. He does a PG on Traffic, right?
Yeah.
But his PG is not like anybody else, right? That's that Tay-Rock and Disaster card, and B-Dot crushes it. So everybody's like, yo, what's up with Loso? What's his situation gonna look like? Mm-hmm. The fans start going crazy. If you would have YouTubed at that time, if you would have typed in Loso PG, several vloggers just constantly putting up videos and just expressing their opinion. Some hating it, some loving it, all that stuff. Here's where the negativity came from, and I'm gonna be straight up honest, bro. It was Norbes. Norbes constantly at that time wanted to, and when I said earlier that people wanted to degrade my accomplishments before I got there, it was all him. I had never heard it from Beasley. I didn't hear it from Smack, but Norbes was on this petition that, yo, you gonna follow me. And I remember even saying, like, yo, I want to build up my platform so I don't even have to do a PG. I'll be able to get a different situation. And Norbes wanted to make it his business every time he was on his podcast, every time he was on Facebook, and that's what was pissing me off. Like I said, I'm okay with protocol, bro. I understand every organization has their own protocol, right? That's fine with me. But do not disrespect what we've already been doing, regardless if you rock with it or not. All you got to do is just look at what are the fans saying? What are the numbers saying? I mean, Mercy, I remember you put up a post. You said, yo, Loso has 8 battles and already eclipsed 1 million something views. He better not ever do a PG. I remember you writing that. And it's like at the end of the day, like it's not about numbers, but you at least start seeing like, yo, he's gaining traction over here. So because Norbes kept saying like negative things about Bullpen and about what I was doing, I was like, man, forget that. So I started clowning the PG process. So if you go back during that time, I would take pictures of an empty classroom of me sleeping on a desk, and I'll be like, I'm in a PG class of my own. Like I would market myself like that. And this is why I feel like no one had ever seen anybody do this before. I was like, y'all want to go ahead and diss this? I'm gonna go ahead and diss the process now.
Wait a minute. It was Norbes, you don't say.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And so,
I respected the fact that, once again, that you didn't allow anybody to devalue your work. That's basically what you're saying. You didn't let anybody, you didn't care who it was, nobody was going to devalue the work. Because leagues aside, platforms aside, all that shit aside, it's still your work.
Yeah. And Peso, all you got is, and if you would have just publicly came out and said, look, Loso is a killer. Loso's nice. Loso's been doing his thing. We do have protocol over here, so we just like him to go ahead and do this PG, and then boom, we'll be out, right? That's fine. That's totally fine. But don't say, yo, we don't care about nothing. If he wants to come, he wants to come. All that other stuff, it only matters on URL. That was what he campaigned, right? I remember even when I had got a call, I had told him, I said, look, you know what? I'll battle somebody. I said, let me get Ryder, a Jack Boy. They said, nah, this is exactly what they told me. Those guys are above your pay grade. They told me Ryder, Jack Boy, Snake Eyes, these dudes, right? And these dudes were even on Twitter talking, and you got to think about it. The Source Magazine and Champion started their list in 2017. I was in the top 10 2 years in a row, bro. 2 years in a row. And you know where Snake Eyes, Ryder, and Jack Boy was? Wasn't nowhere to be found in that top 25 ever. And so I was like, how is a dude who's not in the NBA getting more all-star votes than y'all? That doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? So when that ended up happening, top of 2018, it started just people just started talking about it. I do the show up battle, I do the daylight battle, I do the money bags battle out in Massacre, crazy battle, and I get the call. They're like, yo, we want you to go ahead and do and it wasn't Norbes, it was Beasley and P. And Norbes was pissed at the time, bro. And he was just like, nah, y'all can't do this. Don't let this dude debut. He was even, some stuff was even being said. Oh, my bad. Some stuff was even being said as far as like, oh, Loso would he's gonna act like a diva. He's gonna because I had to sign a contract at that time, which was fine. I was fine with signing a contract with a situation like that. But situations
he basically tried to salt it behind the scenes because you didn't go through his pack.
Because I didn't go through his process, and when they offered me that, it nullified everything he had been preaching. Right? You could only get on URL through him. But I said, but that was not the case. Boom! I ended up getting on Gnome, and the rest is history, man.
Well, I kind of heard a rumor that it was actually him who was actually pushing to get the PG logo put on your battle.
That I don't know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's the case.
They were actually fine with just booking it as a known battle, but it was actually him who was, like, pressing them to make sure they put the PG logo on it.
You know what? But his like I said before, bro, like, no one is going to watch Loso on Gnome in front of 2,000 people and say, oh, yeah, look at that PG battle. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you tell me another PG battle that was like that. You know what I'm saying? And you can't find one.
And speaking of your battle on Gnome with Scotty, how was that like the biggest crowd you've seen? Like the first time in front of a massive crowd, and how did you feel?
So I had I do concerts and whatnot. So I got the privilege to like perform in front of over 1,000 people before. But when you're performing your music, it's totally different than when you're battling. You know what I'm saying? When you're battling, there are people against the odds, and everybody at that time wanted to see how was Loso going to transition on the main stage.
And you're battling Scotty at home.
Scott, and he's the man out there, bro. I don't know if y'all got hip to it. Scotty is the mayor at Houston. And so he does his own little events, and they're huge. You know what I'm saying? They're not little. Like, those, like when he does his Houston barcode joints, bro, they're huge. And so I remember going down the street, Norbes is wrapped around the block. And I remember going down, I'm saying hello to all the fans, and they like, yo, Loso, we rock with you, but we rolling with the home team. And I was like, I bet. During the battle, bro, if you watch it during my third round, they yelling 3-0 for me. They yelling 3-0, 3-0. You know what I'm saying? And so, but it was a 5 battle. Scotty comes out. I remember I go out my first round, and the ground is shaking as I'm performing. Like, they're going so crazy. And my first round was loaded. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm about to knock him out. First round knockout. And I go first. Scotty comes back, and he starts performing, and he has the Houston crowd in the palm of his hand, bro. And Scotty's equally shaking the building just as much as I am. To the point that I remember at one point I'm on stage and I'm like, yo, he's really matching my first round. I'm not sure if he's beating it, but he's matching it. And if he just matched my best round, it's probably gonna be a lot. I'm gonna be in trouble. But I still knew I had some judge. I still had this Mike Jones line, all this other stuff that I was gonna do. And so I ended up winning the battle, obviously. But yeah, man, that experience, that's probably one of the best feelings that I've ever had as a battle rapper.
Yeah, because I definitely had you winning that one. And I was actually surprised because I'm familiar with Scotty. You understand? Like, he even battled Dot at the track. Yeah. Like, and he's just, I feel like he has the makings of a star.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You feel me? And to beat somebody like that in their backyard, I felt like that was really impressive. Like that was, definitely different.
Let me ask a question real quick, Mercy. You've been on KOTD, RB, and URL. Talk about how is it maintaining that delicate balance between all three of those leagues in terms of having healthy relationships? Because we all know they like to pull battlers certain ways. There's some strings that like to be pulled behind the scenes because obviously everybody wants the best Loso they can have on their platform. I totally get that. So for you as a battler, what is it like to maintain a healthy relationship between all three leagues?
That's very important because you don't want to burn any bridges, man. And so, you could be hot one day on one league and another league, you go cold. And so my thing is, I always wanted to be transparent. That's why I always communicated with another league. Like, look, I can't do this. I told ARP, when I was, so the Murder Mook and Averb card, I was supposed to be on that card versus Math Hoffa, but I had just signed the contract for on URL for no, and I was like, hey, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? My bad. So, we'll work in the future type of thing. But I had already given him the J Murder battle, given him the Show Off battle, given him the Daylight battle. I already gave KOTD, a couple of battles. You know what I'm saying? I was doing Bullpen. The 4, which were I thought was the 4 premier leagues in the country at the time. I might have been the only battler circulating. Maybe Math Hoffa might have did it that year, but in 2018, I was the only battler. Well, definitely not. He definitely didn't do Bullpen. So I was hitting all 4 stages in 1 year. Nobody else had did that. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to make sure that I kept an open communication with those dudes. Like, look, I can't do this right now, but we can work in the future, or this is what I have on my plate right now. So I think it's very, very important. And I think the reason why I was able to do that is because Bullpen started off as a neutral site. So when I'm rocking out on Bullpen, everybody's like, oh, we cool with John. We cool with the South. We could easily work with him. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it ended up happening the way it did.
Got you. Go ahead, Mercy.
Okay. So you do the Scotty battle. You didn't have another URL battle after that, did you?
Right after that, what ends up happening, I end up battling. I go to Bullpen again. I battle Clone, and that was a good battle. Then after that, I go Shoddy Horrors League in UK, and they end up taking. They want to do an American versus UK battle, so they choose the 5. Some of the, they market it as the 5 top US battlers at the time versus the 5 best UK, right? So they brought myself out, they brought Ilmac out, they brought a couple dudes, and so we go out there, and I battle Dialect on his retirement battle. So this is his last battle. And Dialect, he's obviously battled all over before. And I go out there and I have what they said. This is what they said. They said it was the best debut from an American on UK soil all time. Boom. And so I go out there, beat Dialect. We end up winning this big trophy, all this stuff. Now, right after Nome, I was booked versus Chef Trez, right? Versus Chef Trez. And we were supposed to battle in Atlanta. A couple of things ended up getting mixed up. We were supposed to battle in Atlanta, right? So I was like, bet, let's do it. But what ends up happening is the strike. Remember the strike with all the battles they want to strike? So they end up switching it.
2 hours.
Right. So they end up switching it.
So Smack put a card together, right? Like that shit there lasted like 2 hours. Then Smack said, all right, we're going to put a card together. They said, all right, bet, we there.
Facts. And so they end up doing strike 2.5.
Yeah.
Strike 2.5 is in New York, and it's set for October. And when it's set for October, I was supposed to battle Chef Trez. Everything's ready, and Trez gets locked up. When he gets locked up, the battle gets pushed back, right? Which was a better situation in a sense. It was pushed back to volume 4, I think, at the time. So, no, I'm sorry, volume 3. I think that's what it was. So we ended up getting pushed back to volume, and we were like, I bet, let's rock. At that time, I'm so focused because I'm so focused on what I was doing in between. I had the Dialect joint. I had all this stuff. I'm going to UK. And so the battle is a week after my UK joint, although I had already finished writing for him before that. Mm-hmm. So I'm not getting any update from URL as far as is Trez going to be able to come out and battle. They only let me know like a week before the October Strike 2.5 event that he wasn't going to be able to battle. Wow. And so I truly feel now, obviously the majority of the battle rap culture, they have Chef Trez beating me that battle, right? That's fine. And I had always said, I would never have a problem like, losing a battle or something like that, or saying that, but regardless, I thought it was a fire battle. I still put on, Trez put on. The thing about it, though, is that I tell people, I'm like, if we were in front of a crowd, it would have been different. What people don't know is that was the K-Shine and Geechee card. K-Shine and Geechee card in that volume setting, you have to think about it. There's no fans, bro. So it's only your entourage or your dolo. And I was dolo. I had John with me, but, it's John. And so
the volume settings are more so like, if you're URL closely affiliated, everybody's gonna pretty much be there for you.
You know what I'm saying? And you could get your people through the door. And so obviously I'm battling Cave Gang, and there's nothing but Crips and Bloods behind the camera, bro. I promise you, bro. It was nothing but Crips and Bloods back there because, like I said, K-Shine and Geechee, they were all bandanaed up. Everybody was there for that joint. And so when I'm rapping, I'm rarely getting any reaction. You know what I'm saying? I'm rarely getting any love. And because, they're not really there to hear that. They weren't really there to hear that. So regardless, man, that was my first time being in a situation where I was like, dang, I wasn't prepared for the situation. I wasn't prepared for this setting. I still wrote, I used my 2.5 rounds for this volume joint. And so, but that was my, so I've only had 3 URL battles to actually go down, which was Scotty on Nome, Chef Trez at Volume, and then I battled Prep on Born Legacy. But there's obviously been battles that were supposed to happen. So K-Shine, I was locked in for K-Shine, I was locked in for JC, and I was locked in for Twerk. All 3 battles didn't go down. K-Shine was supposed to be for the update card. It was in New York. And we were locked in. Rounds were written. Contract. I was paid. I'm still paid for that battle. And Sean ended up deciding not to do the battle. He said he didn't want to do the battle. Yeah, he told me, he said he was offered, and this, he's not lying about this. He definitely was offered he has two big battles. One of them was the Charlie Clips battle, and there's another one that's coming up. And so he was like, when he got paid for those, he was like, Los, like, I'll be honest, like, I just took those instead of just battling you. Why am I going to go ahead and waste that? Me personally, bro, I wanted to kind of like put a dent. That was my goal, bro, because you got to think about it. Even though I've battled, so the Briz battle happened in 2019 when I did my one rounder against Briz and Bullpen, right? That's all that was on people's mind. Everybody's like, oh, Loso choked. Loso got killed against Briz. So after that, I battled 6 times, bro, after that, right? But it was later on in the year. I battled Lou Cypher, I battled Prep, I battled all these dudes, and there were other battles that were supposed to go down. Like I had Disaster and Tay-Rock locked in on different leagues, you know what I'm saying? But those
Disaster battle on deck?
Me and Disaster were supposed to battle in Orlando for Guardians of the Culture, bro. And
what happened with that? Ain't that them niggas that ran off with everybody bread?
That is. This is before they started doing that though. This is before they ran off on my bread, but that's a different story. But
no, let's talk about that. Hold up. Let's talk about it. All right, so what happened? You're supposed to do the Disaster battle. What happens with that on that platform?
It just doesn't go down. So it doesn't go down because Disaster ends up battling SoCon, right?
Okay.
Disaster actually asked them for like a crazy amount of money. He was like, look, I'll do the battle. And he even told me, we talked, and he was like, but I need this amount. And they were like, bet. They were ready to send him the deposit right then and there. But he didn't think that they were going to flinch on it. But he was just like, nah, I can't. I got to focus on SoCon. Boom, he takes SoCon battle.
So what happened with you? So you was on that event in Jersey where they ran off with everybody?
Yeah, me and A-Wall versus Geechee and B-Dot.
Okay, all right. So boom, the battle goes down. First of all, let's have a real talk. Why the fuck did y'all even battle before getting your second half?
I've always done that. I mean, I don't know. There's some battlers who get on stage before getting their second half, but at least for me, that's how I've always worked. ARP, Organic, John, and URL. I mean, if they pay me beforehand, that's fine. But I've usually I performed and then I received my second half.
Okay, all right. So what happens? So what happens? Y'all finish the battle. Battle's done.
Actually, before the battle, this is what happens. I walk into the event, and when I walk into the event, I see the owner, right? The dude who's the league owner. His head is down, bro. He's like this, in the front of the lobby, and I'm like, yo, what's good with this dude? And I guess the turnout isn't what he thought. Remember, this was supposed to be the return of Adi Boom in New Jersey. That's how they kind of was marketing it, right? I don't know why they thought that it was gonna go like, like the return of Mook or something like that, but.
Well, that tends to be what happens. What happens is this, right? You get they get dudes who really aren't too familiar with battle rap, but they got some paper, and they get sold a bunch of dreams. Like if you book these guys, 30,000 people are going to show up, and you're going to make $10 million, right? Which never happens. You understand what I'm saying? Because most of the time, the best events are pretty much people who are. It's a healthy balance between being fans of the battlers and being fans of the leagues. You understand what I'm saying? So if you have the battlers who do have a fan base, but the league has zero fan base, it's not going to turn out well for you. You understand what I'm saying? But that's what happens often when we see these flake out events. Somebody got sold the dream, they didn't get their money back, and now they're trying to look for the first hole they can hide in. But okay, but go ahead. But I'm just telling you down.
And so they're based out of Orlando, right? They're based out of, and I had worked with them before. I had did a battle before, and they paid me good money. They paid me all my money and stuff. But when they end up going to Jersey, and I was like, y'all going to Jersey for this event? They were like, yeah, it's Adi Boom's return. He's fresh out of jail. I think Dre Dennis and a couple other people kind of pitched the idea to him. So he said, I bet he's going to be able to
Dennis, you don't say.
Yeah. So he's going to be able to get like 200 people, 200, 300 people in this event. Right. So we go into the event, and that's not the case, right? Not only is that, but you have a bunch of different battles on this card that kind of didn't really make sense. Now, the 2-on-2 was going to go ahead and be your main event no matter what. Everybody was talking about this 2-on-2. Now, granted, we should have done it somewhere else, but when this dude came with the paper, we were like, bet, we got our first half, and everything was set. Now, when we're you got to think about it. You're doing Ill Will versus Don Marino. You're doing Drugs versus DNA. You're doing which is supposed to be Adi Boom DNA. You know what I'm saying? You got Bad News Twerk. You got some decent battles here and there, but you're paying all of these dudes the most that some of these dudes had ever been paid before, right? You're paying them the most that they've ever been paid before. So you don't even know what their value is out here, right? Like you can't, like put it this way. If you're a new guy and I throw a number at you, of course I'm gonna go ahead. If I know you just in here to go ahead and just make the money,
of course you're gonna gas the number. That's what all battlers do. Of course you're gonna gas the number.
You know what I'm saying? Like, of course I'm gonna go ahead and you know what, yo.
But that's why it comes down to the person who's gassing you to do it, because they supposed to keep it 100 with you. Like, listen, fam, if he pitched you this number, he ain't worth nowhere near that number. You know what I'm saying? This is what he should get. That's up to that person, because this dude who clearly didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Well, okay, go ahead.
So we go in, like I said, you know, I look at dude and he tells me, he says, Los, first thing he says, before I even battle, he says, Los, I promise you, you're going to get your second half before the end of the night. I just got to collect the pay-per-view. That's what he told me. So I said, all right, bet. We do the battle. Crazy battle, right? It's a crazy battle. Event's about to be done. And so now I see him counting some money. And meanwhile, I haven't been paid. B. Geechee hasn't been paid. DNA hasn't been paid. Ill Will hasn't been paid.
K-Shine got paid, though.
So them dudes though, K-Shine and DNA, they end up
go ahead.
I think what they end up so I end up leaving, but you know, the story goes they basically just told him like, yo, we're not leaving till you give us some money. You gotta go.
What happens when you stepped in for your bread? What happened? Cause I don't want to talk about other people's pockets. You know what I mean? But what happens when you stepped to him about your bread?
He just told me, he said, yo, I promise, let me just collect this and I got you. I'm a PayPal it to you. Because we had some people with us, we had to hurry up and go. We had to like, you know, take some people back to the crib and stuff like that. And so me and A-Ward, and even B. Geechee, we ended up leaving. And we just assume that he's going to go ahead and PayPal us, right? We had no reason to believe that he wasn't going to go ahead and pay us.
Y'all left on
you got to think about it. When you throw in an event, though, your plan for paying the battlers cannot be the money that you make at the door. It cannot be the money you make at the door. That can help, but you have to have some sort of contingency plan in place that you like, yo, if worse comes to worse, this is the money set aside for these people's deposits. Yeah. Regardless if you're not making your return on investment, unless you've already worked out a deal. Now, if you worked out a deal with me and said, yo, whatever I make at the door, I'll go ahead and give you this, that's a different story. But that's what he was banking on, bro. And when we end up leaving and we end up getting word that, you know, some stuff ended up going down over there and nobody ended up getting their paper, we was like, so we started hitting them up day after day, nothing. Click, click, click. I'm writing in their Facebook post, in their Facebook group. They're deleting my posts. They're cutting off the messages. I get a call. I get a text message finally from the league owner. He's saying, look, I'm trying my best to get you the money back. But since then, bro, I mean, that happened in March 7th. And, you know, what's today? May 8th? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, 2-3 months, you know what I'm saying? And we ain't received nothing. So me and B-Dot was just talking. We were like, yo, we're going to chalk it up as an L. Now, Keena the Dot owns the footage. We worked out a situation with Keena the Dot where they're basically, we worked out a deal with them basically where we're going to allow them to release the battle. You know,
and are they going to? So did they figure out a way to finally get y'all money?
Nah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So there's no plan of action. There's no installment plans going on.
But see,
you got to think about it. You got to think about it. It's not like we can't hold KOTD and Organic we can't hold them accountable for paying this dude's debt, right? Now, what they can do, they did offer us some bread in order for them to release the battle. That's why the battle hasn't been released, because we basically told them not to. We said, y'all not releasing this battle unless we get paid. But
I mean, technically, if you guys haven't been paid for your services, technically, y'all kind of do own the footage, because it's still your rights until the payment for your services is the release of your image and your likeness.
So I would say this. So I agree with you, right? Unfortunately, I think we released all of that. Well, I guess the contract isn't necessarily fulfilled on their behalf. So I mean, I guess
Right.
what you're saying.
Listen, if you have, I'm not trying to play lawyer here. I'm just speaking in terms of business. This is how I would pursue it. If you have not received your second half as agreed upon, you're not paid in full yet. If you're not paid in full yet, regardless of what that contract says, they do not have the right to use your likeness, your name, or your intellectual property.
Yeah. Yeah. So Keenan the Dot ends up having a third party because they end up loaning some money to this dude. And part of their agreement was they got 2 battles. Part of the 2-battle agreement that they owned, that they were going to put on their channel, was Loso, A Ward, B. Geechee, and it was Don Marino and Ill Will. And so they owned those battles. And so, but out of respect for us, Gannick told us, Gannick said, look, this was part of our deal. We own this footage, but we're not going to put it out, yada, yada, yada. So we had a long conversation. All 4 of us had a conversation with Gannick. We ended up working something out, but I'm still hoping to get paid. I mean, when I say hope, we'll see what's up. I'm still hoping.
Well, this is my thing. This is what I would think. If I'm and King of the Dot, of course, they're not responsible for paying y'all, but I would think that if what does that
hold on. Let me stop you right there. They do once again. And I fucks with Organic and Gully. Don't get it twisted. We fucks with KLTD. I'm just speaking. The truth is the truth. You do kind of assume that debt once you take the footage. Kind of, sort of.
No, but this is what I'm saying. If King of the Dot gave him money for the footage, the dude should be forking that money over to y'all.
Yeah. So no, they didn't. So that's not what they did. So they loaned him money, right? They loaned him. So they worked out a deal basically to help him put on this event. But part of that was, hey, we're gonna go ahead, because you got to think about it. The pay-per-view was done on King of the Dot's platform.
Oh, I get it. So the footage was the way to pay King of the Dot back. Yeah. I get it.
A percentage of it. And then when you got to think about it, King of the Dot, they hosted that whole event. They hosted the pay-per-view. They recorded. It was their equipment, all that stuff. But it was going to be on Guardians of the Culture platform, right? But King of the Dot ends up working out a deal where we're going to keep these 2 battles, though. And when we keep these 2 battles, you'll get a monetization cut from it. But obviously, this dude's not going to get no cut because he has to pay King of the Dot back. There's a bunch of money he has to pay them back. And then for us, you know what I'm saying, battlers, there's still some battles that he has to pay back.
Now that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. I thought it was a situation where he sold the footage to them. You know what I mean? Okay, now what you said makes sense.
So we feel like at this point, we're just like, look, bro, the battle's done. Let's just go ahead and release it. We might as well get something from it. And we got some change from it. And then also, you know, when you got a battle regardless, right? Even though your work is going on YouTube for free, if you a hustler, bro, you could flip that for some more money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could go ahead and promote myself off this battle and promote this battle in a way that's gonna garner, you know, more attention to my page, my merch that I sell on my website, stuff like that. So we all 4 just agreed, like, yo, we only hurting ourselves with the footage. It's not like if it was going on the Guardian of the Culture channel, then I'll have a different problem, right? Because he's recouping that money. But it's going on the organic joint, so we was like, all right, let's just go ahead and work something out.
No, so a lot of fans like myself are, you know, we're waiting to see this footage.
Yeah.
But things like this have to be a learning lesson, especially for aspiring league owners. Listen, man, battle rap isn't a get rich quick scheme.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to make a shitload of money off these events. It's just not happening. Nobody is. Yeah. So what happens is, the problem with a lot of these league owners, they try to throw money in this game that just ain't coming back.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So if you're going to do it, you have to do it with the thought that, you know what, I might take a L. And you got to have that lost money ready.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Period. You got to have that. Whatever your expenses is for that night, that's what you need to walk into that event with in your pocket.
Yeah.
Period. Because it's a shame that you guys all prepared, all came ready, did what you had to do, and you walked out at the end of the night without your paper. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. And but these situations ends up happening to dudes who have like a huge check, right? They're ready to go ahead and throw it down, and they think that they're gonna recoup the return of investment on it that same night or something. I don't know what dreams are being pitched to them, but they think, yo, I'm gonna go into battle rap. I'm gonna go ahead and sell this many pay-per-views. I'm gonna get this many people through the door, and I'm gonna double my income. And it's like, nah, bro, that's not gonna be the case.
It doesn't happen like that. Not with battle rap. It doesn't happen. Because at the end of the day, for majority of these events, 500 people aren't showing up for these small league events. Like, you understand what I'm saying? It is what it is. And that's exactly what you probably would need more than that to even break even.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so.
Especially for the card that he was putting together. And on top of that, he's in Jersey, so he's flying everybody out. He has to get everybody hotels. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. One battle I want to talk about, the Briz battle.
Yeah.
What happened? Because I don't think I've seen you take an L like that before. No. That was the first time I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. So check this out. So 2019 starts, right? I was supposed to battle Jerry West on Volume 4. Okay. That was the John and O-Red battle. The John O-Red card, Charlie Clips Torque card. So I was supposed to battle Jerry West. But I was right at the top of 2019. Remember, I just come off of another top 10 finish on Champion and Source, right? 2019 starts, but I say, I'm not going to take no battles until June. And because this is my last year teaching, right? I say that. I'm not going to take no battles. I'm going to just go ahead, boom, go to June, and that's it. Then URL calls me again and says, hey, we want to do a 2-on-2, NWX versus you and Saga on Volume. We were going to do it. But things didn't fall into place for that. So I said, I bet I'm not doing it. That was supposed to be in January. Julio Jones, this is when the Super Bowl's in Atlanta Falcons. In Atlanta, and Julio Jones wants to throw a Super Bowl battle rap event. He contacts John. They end up putting together some joint. And John's like, Los, I'm doing these 1-rounders. I want you to battle Briz. And I was like, oh, that's dope. But I'm not battling this year, John. I'm not battling at the top of these first 6 months, so I'm gonna just sit out. He goes, I bet. He's going through his card, and he still needs something to kind of sell this card. So he hits me back up again. He's like, Los, I want you to go ahead and do this. I need you to come through. And now John's my brother, right? So like anytime he needs something, I'm just like, but you got to think about it. The reason why I'm not doing the battle is because I'm swamped with so much stuff in real life that I don't have time to go ahead and write. Now, I say, okay, we work out a price, right? Because there's obviously a sponsor for the event. And when we work out a price, I say, all right, this is the amount I need. I don't get the deposit. Now this isn't John. Remember, this is a bullpen event, but this isn't a bullpen sponsor event.
Yeah.
This is, say we got some other people involved. I'm not getting my money. I'm not getting a flight confirmation, none of this stuff, right? And so when I'm not getting any of that, I'm not putting the pen to the pad. Bro, it's 5 days before the event. 5 days before the event. And I get a call saying, look, they're about to send it right now. And I was like, nah, bro, there's no way I'm going to go. Now it's a 1-rounder. They said it's a 1-rounder. Just go ahead and just give us 5 minutes and then that's it. And I was like, I bet. They send the money and I start writing. Now, granted, it's not really 5 days for me because obviously I'm working. So, you cut those days in halves and stuff like that. So I go and I'm writing. I'm kind of, struggling with my writing process. Boom, but I get it done. But at no point do I, as I'm memorizing my round, am I getting it all the way through? But I'm like, I've never choked before. I've battled at this time, right before the Briz battle. I probably have about 25 battles locked in already. I've already battled. Never once. You can't find no footage, even after the Briz or before the Briz battle. Never have I ever choked or forgotten my material.
Right.
So I go to Atlanta. And I'm trying to go over my material, bro, and it's just not clicking. But I'm thinking, with crowd reaction, with all this other stuff, I'll be able to. I was never under the impression I was gonna forget my joint. So the Briz battle ends up taking place, and this is why I tell people why the loss ends up looking so bad. Mercy, this is what it was. I go on stage, and I go first. That's the first thing, right? Not only do I go first, but I go and I choke, right? I choke probably like 45 seconds into my round, and I miss about, I have to, you got to think about it. I could have easily just been like, time, right? But you see me stumbling, trying to get it over, and then after a couple stumbles, I run through some material towards the end because my mind is like, all right, forget it. I can't remember that line. I'm going to just jump. And so I jump to like a later part in the round with like a minute and some change left, and I'm spazzing, right? Like you start hearing these, like I'm doing these crazy angles and these, and like if you just if that's just a snippet of what Loso was gonna bring, like it was gonna be a crazy joint. So I go and that's all I had, right? And so I'm rapping, but it takes a lot of mental like strength to kind of like push through and finish your material when you know the unwritten rule, if you choking around, you lose the round. And it's a one-rounder, so I was like, oh, it's a wrap. Here's another thing why it looked so bad. Everybody who was on stage, you have Sue Surf, you have Jazz the Rapper, you have John John, you have K-Shine, you have Shotgun Suge, you have Tay-Rock, you have all these Hitman Holly, you got all these people on stage while Loso and Briz is battling. So it looks even worse now. Not only is that happening, but remember, no one knew that this was a one-rounder event, right? Everyone was under the impression that these were 3-round battles until remember, John John caught a lot of backlash for that, right? Everybody was like, yo, you charging us 3-round pay-per-view prices for 1-round pay, all that stuff, right? So when me forgetting my material, it's like, yo, you not only did John John low-key robbed us, but you robbing it. You know what I'm saying? You're not even giving us a whole round. So the crowd is like, you basically just threw blood in an ocean full of sharks, bro. And so they're ready to kind of just pound. And now Briz is coming up, and now they're eating out of his palm, bro, every line. So take all that into consideration. And he's wigging, and he's rapping for like
Briz was like going off, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like 7-8 minutes. And so now, granted, I could have easily been on some like, yo, John John call time type of thing, because, you know, that's not what we agreed to. Right. But it was what it was. And so
if you would have called time, you would have looked like a sore loser.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. And so 2 things came into my mind. I was like, 1, I'm not going to do that, right? Because it's going to look worse. But 2, I knew I didn't give the crowd a performance. I was like, yo, even if it's at my expense, let somebody go ahead and rock it. So it was what it was, man. And so I tell people, like, you know, for me, that was a learning experience, because that was the first time. And like I said, it wasn't even a trash battle, right? Like that was the first time that I had left an event and the whole world was like, Loso is not, we knew it, yada, yada, all this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And so all I could do was just own up to it. I just went on Twitter. I was like, yeah, that's what happened. Boom. You know what I'm saying? I end up choking. I end up losing the battle, but you know, it is what it is. So and then what made it even worse is that, remember, my plan was to still not battle till June. So I sat out months. And so everybody's thinking like, yo, Loso's done.
Oh,
so
like breakout down or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But after that though, obviously, you know, I end up doing my numbers after that. But because when 2019 starts, the rollout of battles is different. It's not YouTube anymore, right? You can't even promote your joint. You got the app, you got pay-per-view, you got stuff, VOD, you got all this stuff that's keeping battles vaulted. And so when I am putting in work, there's no way for me to kind of showcase like, yo, I'm still bouncing back type of thing, even though that was a 1-rounder, right? I'm killing all these 3-round battles. And so
wasn't they flagging people for posting clips from the app or something like that?
Yeah, because, you know, it's on because you got it on the app, you got this thing called Quarter Lab, right? That kind of just watches your product, right? Doesn't let nobody else benefit off the product. And so you can't even, you know, screen record, post it or not like that. So,
so how do you feel like that affects battlers overall? Because that's an important part of building your stock and promoting and getting your name out.
Yeah, so you got to think about it, bro. When you drop it on the app, it's difficult for us, man, because that was the way that we promote. That was the way that we go ahead and put it on our Instagram, put it on our Facebook, all that stuff, and make more revenue off of that. Yo, look what you got to think about it. Every battle is a job interview. That's what it is. That's how the battle needs to see, right? Every time you step on stage, it is a job interview for your next job. It is you putting in your resume, look, I could go ahead and do this for another one. And so when they took that away from us, at least for me, I don't know about everybody else, I was like, I bet I'm going to add that into my price now. Because you want me to go ahead and do this battle. Remember, you're taking a benefit that it used to be URL. You guys have about 1 million subscribers. A benefit of battling on your platform before was me getting my battle dropped in front of all these different people, you've taken that away, because not even a quarter of that has your app. So if you're doing
you know, it's crazy. Like Quarter Lab, they even flag on Instagram. They flag videos everywhere.
That's the bad thing. They flag on Instagram, right? I'm okay with you flagging on YouTube. Like, I understand that, but on Instagram, I'm not monetizing that. But anyway, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, but that's why I upped my price. I was like, yo, if you want me to go ahead and do this app joint, I just want to let you know the price is different, because I need a benefit somehow off of it. I need to benefit off of it somehow. And so that ended up, you know, I think it hurt a lot of people, but, you know, you just got to find a way to kind of market yourself differently now.
I got you, man.
So how did you and Saga and Street Hymns and A-Ward come together to form the Four Horsemen?
So we were
and why that name?
Yeah, so the name, I try to tell people all the time, like, it wasn't even like no biblical reference. We were just all big wrestling fans, and we just like, yo, it'd be dope if we were the Four Horsemen type of thing.
That's my favorite wrestling faction of all time.
Facts.
I remember that.
I don't even think niggas. Now I'm talking about Kelly Blanchard, J.J. Dillon, Arn Anderson, Barry Windham, Ric Flair, those horsemen. That I go back to that.
Yeah, not the Dean Malenko one.
No, not Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit and all that. That's later on down the line. I go back to the original Four Horsemen.
Yeah. So when we were all battling, we kind of had like relationships here and there, but it wasn't nothing like authentic, and we weren't even like talking all the time. We would communicate here and there, and we started seeing what everybody was doing, but it was real surface. Street Hymns actually had relationships with all three of us separately. And so he started a group chat. And when he started a group chat, we were just communicating. I remember Saga was part of NWX at this time. And that ended up becoming a huge problem, because we were just in a group one day, and we were just like, yo, what if we just link arms? Like, what if we just team up? We'll be stronger together than we are separately, right? Because like a lot of like false narratives out there, like, yo, this dude isn't this dude isn't that. So we ended up deciding to be in a group together. And when we did that, we had Ike, you know, from URL create a little flyer, a little poster joint for us, and that kind of did his numbers around. And
so was Saga in one too many battle rap groups?
So NWX would say they didn't have a problem with him doing that, but they had a problem in the way he did it. I don't know what the real story was, right? Because I'm not in their group chat, but from what they communicated was that Saga wasn't upfront about joining another group, right? They were okay with him being in two groups, but when they told him like, nah, you can't do that, Saga just chose to be with us. You know what I'm saying? He was just like, look, I'm with the Horsemen then. And so that ended up causing a little Horseman NWX, you know, rivalry type of thing. And so, but that's what started the group type of thing.
So let me ask you this, man. To that young kid coming up in battle rap, it's definitely a careful ballet when it comes to navigating your career in battle rap, man. What some advice would you give to that guy trying to make his way through this game?
Yeah, I would try to tell him, man, find a home. Like for me at least, like my best thing was that I had a home, like which was Bullpen, and I had a route that I wanted to take. So I knew I needed to battle on these specific cards and to accomplish these things. And I think if you're cooking in one central location at first, then you can expand. Don't just start taking all these other battles everywhere. Find like a specific home. So find a trap house, right? Find a zoo battle league out in Tampa, or a Bullpen, or you know, it doesn't have to be a big Premier League, right? It could just be something that's like, you know, that's around your area, and you build with them, and you start putting on good battles, even if you got to pay out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody small, like Bankhead up in Milwaukee when he was doing what was that, Black Ice Cartel? You know what I'm saying? Like he was, you know, he ended up getting a little lit because, you know, he ended up battling, you know, JC and Danny Myers, and his style was different, but he was doing stuff at his home and people caught wind of it. And so I think
even early, to go back to what you said earlier, when you seen it was $100 entry fee, you didn't like feel like you was too good for that or too big for that. If that's what you needed to do to get to the entry point, then that's what you did, and you took off for. Like a lot of battlers don't see that part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a nigga standing outside the club complaining about $20 to get in.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if the goal is, if you done got showered, you done got dressed, you put on your fresh kicks, and the goal is to get in the club, nigga, do what you need to do to get in the club. And then from there, you know what I mean? Figure it out from there.
In the club, and when you in the club, you know what? This didn't pan out the way I, you know what I'm saying? All right, come up with a new game plan, but don't knock it when you outside of the joint. And so my thing is like, for every battler, be prepared to make investments. Like you gotta come out if this is what you want to do. I'm not saying go ahead and open up your 401k and try to go ahead and be the next, Danny Myers giving 12K to Rex or something like that. But you can make smart moves up until then to go ahead and build your brand.
Oh, that legendary 12K, boy. I tell you. We need to do an episode on that 12K, Mercy. Word up, yeah. But what's coming up for Loso, man? What's the next? 2020. Obviously, we in a pandemic right now. We in a quarantine. But after all of this is said and done, what's coming up for Loso?
Yeah. So Loso versus Arsenal on Charlie Clips TV just dropped. I'm saying that
was fire.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was crazy.
Yeah. So obviously,
I would have preferred to see it in person. I think the disrespect would have been epic from Arsenal in that battle. So I think he would have probably stomped the Bible out in front of you or some crazy shit like that. So but go ahead.
So Loso A Ward versus B.Geechee is gonna be dropping soon. I got another battle against Flacco L that will be dropping soon from Bullpen. Apart from that, what's coming up new, man? There's a dope event that I'm a part of with URL and that actually, regardless if there's a crowd or not, it's actually gonna be going down in July. I got all the battles that I was booked for before. Obviously, it's still gonna go down. So you'll be seeing Loso versus Twerk and Loso versus JC. And then obviously we've been kind of building up this thing for NWX and the Horsemen. So Loso versus K-Shine is trying to get pushed. So. And remember, that was one of the first big battles I was booked for before it got down. So that's
got some work coming up. Definitely got some solid work coming up.
Yeah. And then on the if you just a fan of Loso, man, you go to everythingloso.com. I do all my music is on there. I'm dropping a single and a music video coming up very, very soon. So,
let them know your social media too.
Yeah, so on that website you can actually click it, but on Instagram is loso.official, and on Twitter is loso__official. So. We here, bro.
Listen, man, we've definitely been a fan of what you do, man. I've honestly tipped my hat to your career path. And you've been able to make it further ahead in the short time you've been in the game than a lot of dudes that's been in this shit 10 years. You know what I mean? So I definitely tip my hat to that, man. Just keep doing what you do. Keep shining bright, man, because you're definitely one of the few bright spots we've seen in battle rap in a long time.
Appreciate that, man. Thank y'all so much for having me, man.
Not a problem. Appreciate you coming on, man, for real.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You.
All right, man. I'll let you.
All right. Have a good one. Stay safe.
All right.